A solitary light hung from the centre of the kitchen, and Charlie Parker could be heard wailing from the record player in the adjacent room. Feet were tapping and heads were nodding to the beat of the drums and the almighty saxophone of the bird. Lily was laughing as that thrill grew inside her that she was wanted, and there, in that moment, everything outside the room melted into nothingness as they looked from one to the other, one to the other. There was nothing else but the three of them, and the opening and closing lid of the suited man's Zippo lighter. Open, closed, open, closed. The two men hovered on the outskirts of the room, their eyes twitching, seeing who would make the first move. Open, closed, open, closed. Lily looked ahead of her, at the suited man, who stood by the sink. Open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. She then smiled at him, goading him to come closer, as she took careful steps back towards the taller man, who was leaning against the fridge. Open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. As Lily pressed against the body behind her, she wound her bottom against his groin, whilst motioning for the suited man to come to her. He dropped the lighter into his pocket as he came forwards, with an expectant smile whilst doing a cha-cha to the beat of the music. Already Lily's body was being ravaged from behind as her neck was being kissed greedily. The suited man, now in front of Lily, was winding his body to the tempo. Lily grabbed his tie and pulled him to her. She slipped her tongue into his mouth and ran her fingers all over him, feeling his body. A hand slipped between her legs. She pushed back further to feel the penis press against her. She snaked her hips from side to side whilst looking into the suited man's eyes. All three bodies were now frantic, and Lily was finally slipping away from herself. Somewhere in the distance a door suddenly opened. Footsteps came quickly, echoing through the corridor. Movement stopped, motion stopped, desire stopped, lust stopped, a hand stopped. And then there was a terrible disconnection as their flesh backed away from hers. Lily was alone again as the room and its textures flooded into her perception. Turning her head to where the two men were staring, Lily saw a woman standing on the edge of the kitchen looking right at them. In that look she could see horror. In that look she could see her own reflection. A reflection that was bared for all to see, a grimace of pain, distorted and magnified. Something that appeared grotesque in the artificial light of the room. It was frightening, and Lily had to turn her head away as that reflection was her naked self. And, in that instant, she felt herself sinking. She felt that pain coming back up. She felt it like bile from her guts, and it made her want to be sick all over the floor. Noise erupted as the other people in the room began talking frantically. Lily could not hear their words as she was somewhere else entirely. The woman screamed as the taller man tried to hold her. Lily held her hands over her head as the pitch of it went through her like a sword's. The door then slammed. The taller man opened the closed door and stepped through it. Lily was trying not to cry, trying not to be sick, trying to pull her knickers up from her ankles and find her handbag. The suited man was still in the room, trying to make her stay. She was trying to gather her things, trying not to look at him in the eye. He was trying to stop her leaving, trying to finish things off. She wanted to go home. He wanted to carry on. She also wanted to scream, to open her mouth and send forth everything that had been locked inside of her. He was holding her sleeve, telling her that they'd still have some fun. She was pulling away, trying to break free, to not look at him, as she was afraid that if she did, then she'd explode. And then she was running out of the kitchen, and the flat, and the building, until she was back out into the city streets as fast as she could.